Kanye West. Or actually, Ye West. It's going to be tough for me to remember that because I don't really pay attention much to celebrity stuff. So when they change their names, I'm kind of like overwriting a bunch of very early programming and how to refer to them. Kind of a wacky guy, as it turns out, proving to the world, as I have before, that bipolar disorder makes you anti-Semitic. No, not really. Okay, here's the problem. West, just say West, okay, is incredibly mentally ill, and it makes it difficult for me to care about or comment on the stuff that he says, like, for example, in his recent interview with Tucker Carlson, because usually when conservatives say stuff that's incoherent and hateful, there's a kind of like underlying political message to it. But most of what West is saying is just well, it's manic disorder, right? So Tucker Carlson is a guy who exists, much to the detriment of the rest of us. And he did an interview
I fact
with
checked them. He was
Ouch, bolster.
great. There's our man. All right, got a beard. Very trustworthy. Fantastic.
you know, their main tool is, you know, that they use are artists and influencers, right? But then
But who is they? We'll find out soon. West has a brain disease called bipolar disorder. It's something that I have as well, though probably not as bad as him. Definitely not as bad as him. So basically, bipolar disorder can cause people to experience alternating bouts of manic depression and mania. Essentially, they're ping pong balling between two emotional states. One of which, usually, in which people have low self esteem, low opinion of themselves, suicidal ideation, that sort of thing. You guys know what goes along with depression. But the other, less understood half of the bipolar equation is the manic side. And manic behavior can manifest in a bunch of different ways. There's like minor mania, which there's minor mania, like what cats demonstrate nonstop when I'm trying to work. There's sometimes like mania can demonstrate in a positive fashion. Like it can just be uplifting and you can feel energetic. That's not impossible, but that's usually like the lowest end of manic expression. At higher ends, you have people who will like go out and gamble all their money away because they think they're incapable of losing. Like they think that the universe is tuned towards them in terms of luck. They can think they're invulnerable. They can like go and walk. They can go on like 5-day walks around it, like a city, just like walking around because they have all this energy. What's important to understand is that it's not just like bipolar isn't just alternating between happy and sad. It's alternating between like delusional negativity and delusional positivity. Generally speaking, both states are destructive. And in Ye's state, as best as I can tell, my man over here is has, I guess, what you would call one of the more pathological expressions of manic behavior, which is megalomania. Which is that his manic episodes, in addition to him being irrational and wacky and kooky and stuff, seem to manifest as a kind of like God complex in a way. Yes, sans Undertale Ye West. Yes. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? If you watch the interview with Tucker Carlson, he talks about talking about like being a warrior for God, or like a holy like it goes beyond just having a high opinion of yourself. It's like this delusionally inflated, usually like metaphysical or spiritually. Yeah, I mean he literally has called himself God. Yeah. So anyway, my man over here not doing so great. He refuses to take his meds because he thinks it makes him less of an artist. I don't know much about music, but he's apparently quite a good artist. He recently wore a White Lives Matter shirt with Candace Owens. There they are. Ye demonstrating the classic sort of bald guy caterpillar ripple on the back of the neck over here, which is a great fashion compliment. Ye has come a long way since accusing George W. Bush of not caring about black people. Unfortunately, he's gone quite downhill. It's not good. It's not good. Not good at all. Um, Victim of divorce court. Oh, I'm sure. There's this whole thing with him and Kim Kardashian, and I'm so sorry. It's a level of analysis that I just can't add to this issue. I just don't know. I'm sorry. From what I've seen, like in the screenshots that I've seen from Instagram, it's basically just Kim Kardashian being normal and him being very not normal. As far as I can tell, that's the nature of the dynamic. Where, and again, please understand this is coming from somebody who does not give a shit about Kim Kardashian, but like he just seems like weird, like divorced guy energy, just like insane harassing her, you know. Um, and he got nuked off of Instagram like just the other day after he shared text message logs of him arguing with Diddy, who criticized him for the White Lives Matter shirt, which were interesting. But before we get to that, uh God, there's so much here. Oh my God. He Diddy? I believe that's presumably Diddy FKA Puff Daddy. I assume so. No, Diddy Kong, the Smash character, um, makes their star appearance. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm wading into the celebrity stuff as best as I can. Didn't he also post a picture of a monkey who was skinned alive? If he did, I don't know about it, but he probably shouldn't do that. He did? Okay. Well, anyway, as long for an album cover, okay. As long as we're covering the issues here, the White Lives Matter thing, why is it controversial? So I imagine most people who watch me already know why, but to put it simply, the statement Black Lives Matter uh is not the statement only Black Lives Matter, and nobody thinks that, nobody who says it, at least. Um, the statement is meant to be a repudiation of the cultural logic that Black lives don't matter, as is represented whenever you see, like, black issues thrown under the rug, black on black crime being dismissed as like cultural problems as opposed to deliberate socioeconomic racism, police violence against black people being justified. These are attitudes that reinforce a cultural idea that when black people die or kill each other, it's just, there's a reason why it's a narrative trope that generally speaking, police don't get involved when like people are getting hurt unless there's like a white girl who goes missing. There's a lot wrapped up in that. The Black Lives Matter movement is broadly just like, hey, we matter too. The White Lives Matter slogan, leaving aside the fact that it is exclusively repped by white supremacists, like leaving aside the guilt by association stuff, is bad because it's an implicit response to the suggestion that the statement Black Lives Matter means only Black Lives Matter. Essentially, the statement Black Lives Matter too would only make sense if culture already believes that white lives do matter, which of course it does, obviously, and basically every cultural or media outlet, the lives of white people are treated with, I think, a proportional amount of gravitas. So the suggestion here is basically like, no, actually, we're the victims. And Kanye, or sorry, Ye here is presumably having a manic episode slash stirring up controversy slash trying to draw headlines to himself, by walking around Candace Owens, known Hitler defender, with the White Lives Matter shirt. There's a big culture in conservative circles with like the pick me black people whose entire jobs it is to say like, well, actually Republicans are the anti-racists and Democrats are the real racists. Like that's Candace Owens' entire thing. Now, Candace Owens is herself a racist if she can be said to believe anything. She has literally busted out the 1350 arguments before George Floyd was no angel. The whole like 9 yards. Like she has pulled out every argument I've ever heard from neo-Nazis to defend and justify the harm done to black people, both interpersonally and societally. So, if she believes anything at all, if she does have any sincere beliefs, they are racist ones. Um, to what extent she's just a paid grifter, I mean, who knows? She seemed genuinely pretty angry when she got called out for defending Hitler, so, whatever. So, that's why that's bad. Then, obviously, after Ye, uh, did the White Lives Matter shirt thing, elicited criticism, broadly, probably deserved. And following that, Ye posted text convos that he had with P. Diddy, which were interesting, and then got him nuked off Instagram, which is neat. So, remember, we're seeing this from Ye's perspective here. So, blue is him. I don't like our convo. I'm selling these teas. Nobody gets in between me and my money. Great. This is my grandfather texting you now. Again, remember, he's very mentally ill. Never call me with no bullshit like that again unless you're ready to greenlight me, because anybody who got on that tea is me. Out of respect for everything you've meant to me, I'll be quiet as Virgil, but now I know how I've hurt people I love with threats. Come do something illegal to me now, please. Again, I have to stress, he is deeply mentally ill. He literally refuses to take his meds. Then Puff, in a flagrant violation of civil etiquette, says the N-word. Crazy. Send me an address. Let's stop playing these internet games. Don't feel threatened. You'll be fine. Just love. And Ye says, this ain't a game. I'ma use you as an example to show the Jewish people that told you to call me that no one can threaten or influence me. I told you this was war. Now gun get you some business. An interesting drop there. And then Puff says, let's meet face to face. Send me an address. And then Ye says, fuck you, you fed. Ye acting actually like the perfect 4chan white nationalist here, where he blames his opponent's behavior on Jewish people, accuses them of being feds, and also threatens to meet me IRL, say that in person to me, bitch, keyboard warrior, and then backs out of it. Just, so Ye said, I'm just trying to talk to you as a black man. I'm talking to you because this is hurting our people. Stop. And Ye said, anything you text, I will post. I love you, and you guys are breaking my heart. I accept your apology in advance. So again, fully mentally ill. There's very little to be said here. Obviously a manic episode, completely incoherent, not doing well, having a mental breakdown. Yes, Diddy did respond, posted a video. Here we go. Hate Instagram's format. I never use this site. I'm so in not shallow waters for myself here.
What's up? Check this out, y'all. I am not about to be addressing every last thing that's going on in the world on the internet. But the thing I do have to address is this White Lives Matter t-shirt. I've always been there, and I will always support my brother Kanye as a free thinker. But the White Lives Matter t-shirt, I don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with it. And with the press and what fashion is doing, thinking it's a joke. But right now, all America has planned for us is poverty, incarceration, and death. So before I could get to any other lives matter, which all lives matter, you know what I'm saying? That Black Lives Matter, don't play with it. If you don't wear the shirt, don't buy the shirt, don't play with the shirt. It's not a joke.
I agree. Seems like a good sentiment. He does look exhausted here. He looks like so tired. All right. Well, let's not let's not beat around the bush there. What was that about Ye accusing Diddy of acting on behalf of the Jews? It was an interesting one right there. Definitely a wacky approach. So a bit after that, he got banned off Insta for the anti-Semitism, presumably. And then Ye went on to Twitter, where he was welcomed by Elon Musk, immediately indicated he would be running for office in 2024. On what platform, I have no idea. Presumably not a good one. And then he posted this banger, his own 416. I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who opposes your agenda. Couple of things. First of all, I don't know if he meant to say DEFCON 3 in like an implicit death threat, or if he meant DEFCON 3, which is, a sort of national emergency warning. DEFCON 3 is a festival. It's a festival called DEFCON 3. If I Google that, I bet it'll just be on Yay. Yeah, it's just, if you Google that right now, it's just people talking about Yay. Yeah. Because everyone's reporting on it. Which, to be fair, a giant celebrity saying that he's going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people is admittedly a little bit alarming. I'll say it! You know, Black Lives Matter and all, but you know what? If it was a white boy who posted that he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, that motherfucker would have gotten banned off Twitter. Ye only had that tweet deleted. But they were white. No, I'm serious. Yeah. Anti-Semitism from white people is taken more seriously than anti-Semitism from black people. Look at Luis Farrakhan and the way the media treats him for an example of that. Or Nick Cannon, right? Yeah. So, right now, Ye is, he's expressing, his sort of, adjacency to a political tendency called, you've probably heard the term like Hotep used sort of deferentially, Black Israelitism, which is a whole thing. Let me put it this way, okay? You know how everyone all around the world historically has been really normal about Jewish people? Like all throughout history, we've just been really normal about Jewish people, you know? That's definitely a thing. Yeah, famously. Well, here's the thing. There's kind of how would you put it, a dialectic in Western society with Jewish people. Or at the very least there is an internal antagonism, and it's this, you know? Anti-Semitism has been really common for thousands of years in what we call Western society. However, Jesus Christ of Nazareth was a Jew. Jesus was a Jew. And those around him, his apostles, those close to him, his people, were Jewish. Which is weird, right? You know, you'd have mostly Christian canon be like really anti-Semitic against what are essentially like the starting people of Christianity, you know? And of course, right, like the Catholic Church blamed the Jews for the crucifixion of Christ because they thought it was definitely like the local Jewish leaders and not the Roman government that was pressuring them. And you can look at historical evidence to indicate that the Romans were leaning so heavily on blah, 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 blah. Look, it's complicated. It's complicated. It's very complicated. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that at various points in history, different ethnic groups have had cranks within them who have tried to claim that they're the real Jews. This is a real thing. British Israelitism, I think, or is it British Hebrewism? It's one of those two. Is a real thing. I think in the 19th century, when it was most predominant, where they believed that actually, like Jesus Christ and his apostles and what have you, like they weren't like, you know, they weren't in Nazareth, whatever. They were British. They were British. The Mormons here in America believe that actually, like, it was in North America. The Native Americans were actually like the founding people, you know, of the Christian religion. There's been this like obsession with sort of rewriting the presence of Jewish people to make your ethnic group the like starting point, if that makes any sense. You can probably find stuff like this for a bunch of different majority Christian cultures, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if there are like French Israelites and like Italian Israelites and stuff. In fact, I'm almost certain that there are, you know, who believe like, oh, actually, no, due to this like really complicated historical bullshit that like doesn't make any sense. Actually, like we were Christ, you know, like you can see that. Yeah. Welsh Israelitism, you know what? Right. So anyway, very normal stuff. And black Hebrew Israelites are people who think, essentially, that the real Jews are black people. That Jesus was black, and the apostles were black. Everyone around... Oh, apostle, not apostle. Thank you. That they were, all cool, had afros and stuff. And that actually, and this is a common belief as well, that the people we know as Jews today are usurpers. This is a belief, like Luis Farrakhan, the new Black Panther Party, oh God, what's the name? Muhammad Ali was part of them. I'm blanking right now. Like Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam. Thank you. Yeah. Nation of Islam. Yeah. The idea is basically like black people are the real God's chosen people, and the so-called Jews are actually usurpers who are trying to rob black people of their sort of God-given chosen people status by pretending to have been the Israelites. No, yeah, black Israelites used to be a much more active political force. Yeah, you can find them on the street. Hold on. I want you guys to know where this all comes from. Vaush, this is all retarded. Yep. New York City, black Israelites. Black Hebrew Israelites versus Israeli Parks Authority. Sure, why not? Will this demonstrate the point? Who knows?
Beit Israel is a community originally from the United States with roots in the Black Hebrew Israelites movement. Now based in Israel, the religious group believes Tel Arad to be the true Jerusalem.
These are the people of the book. That's right.
The Israeli government, however, does not recognize Tel Arad as a holy site.
Israel have a law. You see, that indicates that if you have a holy place within the land of Israel, that you should be able to...
The Black Hebrew Israelites committed hate crimes in New York. If I remember correctly, the Black Hebrew Israelites are actually one of the most disproportionately terroristic groups in America. They killed Malcolm X, yeah, but like beyond that, like they actually commit a wildly disproportionate amount of hate crimes and terrorist attacks. Relative to... Vaush, what do you mean historical evidence in regard to Jesus? We don't even know if there was a real person. I think most people agree that Jesus really was a preacher at that time who was killed, from what I've read. I don't want to get into it. I'm sure this is probably a wildly complicated topic. But anyway, from whatever people talk about, I think even in the canon of like Christian mythology, I think you can squarely lay the blame for Jesus's crucifixion on the Romans. No, you will not, Merrick. Do you know why the group was called Nation of Islam if they are black Israelites? That is an excellent question. The Nation of Islam, as I understand it, has kind of had this weird, like, ideological schism. I don't know the extent to which it gets addressed internally, but there does seem to be a very weird overlap between black Israelites and black Muslims, but some of them believe the same thing. I don't know. Let's just attribute it to mental illness, okay? Can we do that? Let's just assume that this is the product of constant infighting and relentless internal fracturing, and just not think about it too much. Oh, here we are. Who are the Black Hebrew Israelites? Thank you. Yes.
Oh my God. One of the shooters, David Anderson, was linked to the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. It has many sects, but law enforcement tells us he may have been connected to the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, often described as a racist hate group. Pix 11's Mary Murphy went to the sect's Jersey City location on Wednesday.
A law enforcement source told Pix 11 he became affiliated with the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ here in Jersey City, which was shuttered today.
A statement provided to Pix 11 by the sect's attorney denied any affiliation with Anderson or his murderous colleague, Francine Graham. It said, quote, We emphatically denounce their deplorable and unspeakable actions and offer our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of the victims. End of quote.
Well, I didn't know this news story would be about after they killed someone, but I guess now we know. Yeah. I mean, the most recent like active example I think we have of the Black Israelite sort of tradition hitting the mainstream is the Black Hammer Party. The people who are encouraging white people to engage in Maoist reparation payments so they could go out and like steal indigenous land to like go play Smash on the couch or whatever. Kidnapping, killed someone, I think someone died, or no, someone died in their compound. Uh it's a whole thing. If there's anything that I want you to take from all of this, okay, it's this, all right? This is a movement that is deeply, deeply, deeply saturated with mental illness. Can we get that? Let's leave that, okay? Just from top to bottom, at every level, the leaders, the people below, a lot of this mental illness, I think, is caused by trauma. Being Black in America is going to cause trauma. You know society doesn't give a shit about you. I totally get that. I understand that a lot of Black people want to connect their heritage to something greater, and the legacy of Christ is quite possibly like the greatest cultural touchstone in the history of Western canon. So I understand where it comes from, but it's still absolutely batshit. It's completely insane. It is tied to so many bad things. And honestly, not to paternalize here, but I genuinely think they're kind of doing Black people dirty because there's like so much cool shit in the history of Africa, you know? But a lot of these Black Hebrew Israelites really want to sort of like, they want to take like Rome or Egypt or Jesus Christ, you know, which kind of makes it seem like, I mean, you know, if one was a white supremacist, I imagine they would find it quite funny that the intellectual canon that the Black Hebrew Israelites want to take are those that are products not of like their own racial history, because it would be like, oh well, then why don't you go to your own history, you know? But there's a lot of cool stuff in Africa, like a lot of really cool stuff, you know. The battle for African colonialism was not one that Europe just like won over, you know. This was like a centuries long bloody war, and many African cultures were able to win or at least delay their own loss with spears and shields against people with rifles, which, you know, one thing that always bothered me, by the way, is that why is it that if you're on 4chan, nothing is more Giga Chad than fighting people with like swords, spears, shields, and axes when they have guns? But then when it's Black people doing it, all of a sudden it's because they're stupid and like low civ. That doesn't make any sense. When we read those stories about those couple of guys in World War II who like stormed bunkers with swords, we're like, yeah, that's awesome, you know? Or you hear about like Giga Chad alpha male like return to tradition guys who are like, you know, yeah, they may have had guns, but we had our fucking muscles, you know. But then when it's Black people who are doing that in real life on civilizational levels, or you have like Shaka Zulu or whatever, like winning for a time, and it's like, oh well, actually that's because they're monkeys or whatever. What? How does that make any sense? Whatever. Maybe Africans were just too masculine to hold guns, you know? Maybe they thought that those rifles just looked like dicks. All these Europeans come over and they're like working the shaft of their big rifles, and the Giga Chad 7-foot tall African tribesmen warriors are like well, in their like you know, their like fur loincloths are like laughing and like pointing, and that's sort of like the ideological root of the white racist obsession with cuckold porn, isn't it? It would be like some like role play porn story or whatever, where you have like you you have like the Dutch or the Portuguese or something in Africa, and there are a bunch of like these wimpy white guys that are like huddling together with their like their rifle formations, as these gigantic masculine square-jawed Africans have like one hand pointing and laughing and the other like grabbing the ass of their like mega thick fucking tribeswoman. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm just saying, listen, the timeline could have gone a lot of different ways, is all I'm saying. Could have gone a lot of different directions. Wide variety. It's fine. God. Okay, let's get serious now. Where are we going from here? Well, here's the thing, okay? Ye West is deeply mentally ill. I think we can all agree on that. And also, he's an anti-Semite. Being bipolar does not make you like this. Just to let you guys know, okay? Being bipolar doesn't make you cozy up to Trump, wear a White Lives Matter shirt, and then threaten to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Without you having already been bad. My frustration is that a lot of people are still treating Ye like a victim, which, like, he's so powerful, and he's choosing not to take his meds. He's not a victim. I don't think people are like, oh, you know, he's being manipulated by the conservatives, or like, no, I don't reserve any sympathy here. Like, he's unfathomably wealthy and powerful. He's making the choice to not take the meds or use the medical care that he has infinite and unlimited access to. And then he's like posting Nazi propaganda on the TL, you know? Let's assign some agency here, you know? He's a grown ass man. It's on him. Yeah. Historically, black Hebrew Israelites have gotten along with the far right and white supremacists. It's not exactly an unlikely pairing. Ultra super racist black people who are anti-Semites and ultra super racist white people who are anti-Semites are generally unified by their strongest principal shared belief, which is anti-Semitism. When you're uniting groups of people who have different interests, you always need to give them a common enemy. We understand this, of course, because we want to unite people of different political interests against the bourgeoisie. You know, this is not like a bad tactic. It's a neutral one. Anyone can use it. But likewise, anti-Semitism tends to be sort of a unifying force here. It doesn't help that there's also kind of a shared between white Nazis and black Hebrew Israelites, a shared belief that Jewish people run the recording industry, like the music industry broadly. White supremacists believe that Jews run the music industry to produce degenerate garbage like hip hop and rock and roll and rap, which makes their daughters have sex with black men. That's really what they believe. Whereas black Hebrew Israelites tend to believe that Jewish people control the music industry in order to like crimp off the profits of the black artists, which is admittedly a better story. I mean, that's a better pretext, but it's still anti-Semitism and it's still untrue. The exploitation of working artists is a habitual and completely consistent factor in all forms of commodity production everywhere, regardless of the ethnicities of those involved. You can go to the music or cultural industries of any other country on earth. It's not a Jewish thing or anything else. By the way, there is, as is so often the case, the nugget of truth behind the lie. There are a disproportionate number of Jews in positions of authority in the music industry. And do you know why that is? It's because only black people made good music in this country, and white labels wouldn't run with them. That's literally it. Seriously. Black people, blues, jazz, R&B, rock and roll, hip hop, rap, and like churning out the fucking greats, you know? And historically, the people most willing to work with black people on cultural production have been largely Jewish. The reason for this is because all over the country, Jews and black people were put in the same slums. Meaning that, like, to the extent that you have like some kind of cross-ethnic collaboration, you know, Jews and racial minorities broadly have been you know, have worked together in many fashions. It's the same reason there are a lot of Jews in Hollywood. It's because they fucking set up shop over here and were able to take advantage of some of the technology without getting fucking sued by Thomas Edison, who was very anti-Semitic. And they were able to work with some poorer artists. And artists had a tendency to be shunned by broader white society, right? Think of like the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s. A lot of artists, like real auteur artists, you know, it's not like all these people are out here, you know, like composing classical sonnets. These people are bold and daring, creating new things, as many black artists did. And broader white society hates that. White people hate spicy food. Really, every time Jewish people get blamed for something, it's because like it's fucking white people's. There are of course white Jews, but you know what I mean. Broader white hegemony, Gentiles, whatever. It's just consistently, you know? Just keep getting blamed for shit other people put him in. Yeah. And mostly female directors in the beginning. Yeah, a lot of female directors and a lot of black directors. There were a lot of black directors during the early early days of film. Of course, they weren't allowed to show their stuff in many theaters, so they'd have to go around and broadcast that stuff in like local community theaters. You know, they would have to be like essentially crowdfunded. I mean, imagine trying to in the 1920s. Imagine trying to like maintain a film production budget off of the contributions of a black audience during the Jim Crow era, you know? Not a lot of money to work with. I think you're underestimating the damage that getting cucked by a Jewish guy had on Kanye's psyche. Pete Davidson's probably the cause of a lot of this. Wait, is Kim Kardashian's newest squeeze Jewish? Oh god, it always is that simple, isn't it? Wait, do we mean the comedian and actor? Is that who we're talking about? Who are we talking about? Wait, it wasn't. Wait, I remember this. Wasn't it like she cheated with him or something? I think I saw bits of this drama. They broke up. Yeah, but it was like, is this guy Jewish? Born in Staten Island. Yep, he's Jewish. 100%. This guy is 1 year older than me. Holy shit. But he looks a decade younger. Davidson's father, predominantly Jewish ancestry. Wait! Judaism is matrilineal. His mother is of Irish and German ancestry. If his father is of Jewish ancestry, then there's no guarantee at all that he was taught anything about Judaism. Read the next sentence. There's Irish, younger sister, Catholic, enrolled in St. Francis. Yeah. His dad died in 9/11. Steering the plane. That's a conservative take. Well, a lot of Jews are very culturally conservative. No, I know the Nazis wouldn't care. Yeah, and was raised Catholic, yeah. If there's anything to which I praise God for, like, it's that I grew up in a neighborhood with mostly Jewish people because Jewish people don't proselytize. Thank God for that. Christians will try to make you Christian. Muslims will try to make you Muslims. Jewish people will not try to make you Jewish. Not most of them, at least. You know, there's like all those stories about how if you want to convert to Judaism, like the rabbi has to turn you away 3 times. You know what I mean? Persian Jews, negation F. Yeah. Yes, Jews tend to vote for the Democratic Party for the most part. Wait, is this real? Yo, it's Skate. Can you please take a second, calm down? It's 8 a.m. It don't gotta be like this. Kim is literally the best mother I've ever met. She does for those kids amazing. You're so fucking lucky. She's your moms. I've decided I'm not gonna let you treat us this way anymore. I'm done being quiet. Grow the fuck up. Oh, use a preventive where you're in bed with your wife. Damn, is that real? That's dope. Hope this guy had enough money for a security detail after this. It's real, Amal. Dope. Man, no wonder Ye's mentally ill. That's messed up, very cruel. Honestly, I think you can be as mean as you want, TA. Wasn't he being like incredibly shit to Kim before this? Like yeah, like again, what chat people in chat have like an infinite tolerance for like sort of cruelty to Elon Musk, but like Ye's just a shit person, right? I don't know. Yeah, he was being unhinged to her. Yeah. Pete Davidson's also rumored to have a massive dick, so it might be feeling some insecurity. Dope. Hell yeah. He was psycho to Kim when they broke up. Yeah. When he got divorced, Kanye bought a house right next to Kim. Great. What did we learn today? Well, if we learned anything, I would say we learned that Kanye is a pretty massive threat to cultural, progress. Because you basically just have like this random ultra popular wealthy powerful artist who just got hit with a brick and is now like ideologically not far off from being a neo-Nazi. Yeah, if we learned anything, it's take your meds. Take your fucking meds. Davidson literally gets the women because he's super nice, according to co-stars. Yeah, if ever there was a time where being really nice to women is going to get you mad pussy, it's recently divorced or like going to divorce ladies. Because they're usually divorcing for a reason because their ex-husband or current husband is a cunt, and then you get to go up to them and they're like, "Man, my day's been shit." And you can be like, "Really? Tell me about it." And they fucking come because normally they just get hit in the face when they say that. Basically, what I'm saying is here's my secret to manipulate women for sex, okay? Be nice to them and listen to them and respect their feelings. Those dumb bitches fall for it every time. And then afterwards you're set. Just be kind and considerate and respectful towards them, and you fucking got them. Just incredibly easy. Top V, top V. Bitches love respect.